This week.
All right.
Okay.
So as you guys know, this is going to be our last week. So I want to spend a lot of time checking in with you guys to see where we are. So Matilda, I'll start with you if you don't mind. Can you tell me a little bit how things have changed since the first session?
I spend more time with my parents now.
And how's that for you?
What do you mean?
What does that feel like for you, spending time with your parents?
It's been nice. We have fun sometimes when we go to the movies or it's been good.
Okay, because I remember when you first came in, you told me that you felt ignored and they called you names. How are those things?
That's gotten a lot better. They don't call me names as much at home anymore. They don't get mad as often as they used to.
Okay. Mrs. Wormwood, I seen you smile when Matilda referred to those things. Can you tell me a little bit about how things have changed for you?
Well, me and Matilda get along a lot better than we were. I actually enjoy spending time with her instead of feeling like she's driving me crazy like before.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she can communicate with, like she tells me how she feels instead of whining about things. Like she feel like we're able to talk.
That's good to hear. It's a lot of progress being made that I can hear. You guys are communicating more. Matilda feels comfortable opening up to you, and likewise. Mr. Wormwood, what about yourself? How have things changed for you since the first session?
Just like my wife said, Matilda learned how to actually talk with us instead of just complain about everything, and give her reasoning as to why she thinks this way or that way.
Mm-hmm.
And things with my wife are better now as well. We communicate a lot better. We don't use demeaning words with each other.
Which is always positive.
Yes. So yeah, I think that the big issue that needed to be worked on was communication within each other, and I believe that that's been worked on.
Okay, so moving forward, is there anything that you guys want to keep working on?
We'll see how it goes with homeschooling now that I'm gonna be at home more.
Okay.
So I don't know.
As long as she does her work, I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Matilda, I know a few weeks ago you were, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but you were a little concerned about how things will go with your parents after the sessions had stopped. Are there any specific concerns that you have?
Just that they'll start getting annoyed with me again now that I'm gonna be home more.
I can understand that. Mrs. Wormwood, are there any plans that you've created to adjust to these new changes?
I mean, the only thing we really talked about was us like getting out, getting away for a few hours alone, so we can maybe have a little reprieve so we're not always together, the three of us.
That's great. I'd like to hear that you guys are thinking about things after the sessions and that there is some kind of plan implemented. So, Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, I'd like to talk about your relationship for a second. I know that there were some communication issues going on there in the beginning, and Mr. Wormwood said that things have gotten better. Mrs. Wormwood, can you tell me how things are for you?
I feel like he just needs more. He's wanting to spend more time with the family and with me, but we still have some stuff that we need to work on.
Which is natural. Marriage is a work in progress, there's always going to be little bumps in the road. Do you guys have any plans on how you're going to continue moving forward after the sessions end?
Not really.
I don't.
Mr. Wormwood, do you have any concerns about moving forward?
At least right now, I don't think so. I think everything should work better than it was before. I don't have any immediate concerns.
Okay. So, it seems like you guys have considered what life is going to be like after our sessions end, and you do have some type of plan in place. Where is I going with this? Sorry. And you guys have been addressing the goals. I'd like to check in a little bit there to make sure that everything's on track. Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, how have you guys been doing on spending time together? I know Mr. Wormwood wasn't pleased before. How is that for you now?
I'm very pleased right now. Things have gotten better. We worked out our issues and it worked out better than before.
I think we kind of come to an agreement that like 8 hours was too much, but he was willing to settle on us just putting forth our best effort as like an hour. Putting an actual hour to it was too much because there's some weeks where we do get 8 hours, 10 hours together, and then other weeks, may only be 3 or 4. But as long as we're actually enjoying each other's company and feeling, that way, then it works for us.
I'm glad to hear that you guys reached a compromise, that was good for the both of you so that you could work on that. And Matilda, how about your relationship with your father? I'm hearing that things are better with your mother, but what's going on with your dad?
I haven't really talked to him too much, but he doesn't get mad at me like he used to. He seems a lot happier now that Mom and him are working things out, I guess.
All right. And how does it feel for you to see your parents in a better space without the arguing?
It's much less stressful at home.
All right. So, Matilda, how do you feel about the sessions ending?
I don't know, things have changed a lot since we started. Now that I'm homeschooled, things are going to change even more. So, I don't know what to expect.
And how do you feel about all the sudden changes that are taking place?
A little nervous, but I'm glad that Nathaniel's gonna tutor me. That'll be good.
Okay, I'm hearing that you're a little nervous about all the different things that are going on, but you are a little excited. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Wormwood, I know in the beginning you were a little hesitant about the sessions and you weren't really looking forward to it. Can you tell me how you feel about things ending?
At first I didn't think it was gonna be worth it, but seeing how much, what the fuck? There's people on the ceiling. I'm like, what?
What was it?
No, there's people on the ceiling.
I thought it was a bug.
Wow.
Right in my head.
That was random. What the fuck? Okay.
Sorry.
So how are you feeling, Mr. Wormwood?
Alright, yeah. Okay. I can't do the straight voice either. Okay. Yeah, at the beginning, I didn't think it was gonna be that much worth it, but yeah, I think that there has been a lot of change within the family. So yeah, I think it was worth it. It was very much worth it.
Okay, and Mrs. Wormwood, how do you feel about our sessions coming to an end?
I'm scared. Anyway, I feel that we have made a lot of progress, but I still feel like there's more that we can do, and I'm kind of apprehensive about just going back to normal.
Okay, it's normal to feel apprehensive about things. Can you tell me a little bit more about your concerns?
Yeah, what concerns?
Well, that may be one of them, the attitude.
What attitude? I was asking a question.
Okay. Just that maybe we'll start arguing again all the time, and that things will just go back to the way they were.
That's a valid concern. Can you tell me what do you think makes the argument start?
She's gonna say it's me.
Mr. Wormwood, can we give her a chance to explain herself, please?
Okay,
I don't even want to go there.
here we go. Go there.
Mr. Wormwood, what do you think fuels the argument?
Oh, I don't know. Stuff like this. I was gonna say shit, but you know. stuff like this.
I appreciate you holding back your language. And
You
what
said it anyway, so what does it matter?
And what do you mean by stuff like this?
Me speaking my mind.
No, not speaking your mind. You're so irritatingly negative sometimes.
I wasn't being negative. I was just being honest with my.
Well, you know, I feel that we made a lot of progress, and then
And I
here
said
you
that
begin.
first that we did.
Exactly, and now here you say, "Oh my goodness, I'm scared of things going back the way they were."
Well, here's my answer for you.
Oh, okay, I'm the answer.
Though it can be a little frustrating, I think it's good that we can communicate our concerns about what we feel could happen. Because if she's not honest with you about these things, the chances of going back are more likely. I did notice a lot of change even between you guys talking now. Mr. Wormwood was listening, though he interrupted a few times, as did Mrs. Wormwood. You guys are hearing one another. There's no name calling. So I have seen the progress with you guys. Matilda, while your parents were talking, I seen a little frustration in you. Can you tell me how you feel when that happens?
Are you gonna whine?
Really?
I have to.
Really, Dad?
I just feel like that's the same thing. Yes, they did were a little better, like you said, but it's mainly the same stuff that they were doing at the beginning, and I'm worried that it's gonna just go back to being that way all the time.
I understand your concerns, and they are valid, but we must note that change doesn't happen overnight. It's something that we have to keep working at, and that
I'll be home and I'll have to see it all the time. If they're fighting, I'll be around it even more.
that could be frustrating. Do you think it's a good idea for us to come up with a plan on how to handle these situations differently so that everyone isn't frustrated by the situation?
How do we do that?
We could work with your parents to discuss something. Like, for example, Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood, when we do see a disagreement coming on, maybe we can step away from Matilda or even your other son, Michael, and handle it separately, because it does seem to be having an effect on Matilda. Is that something you guys think could happen?
Sure.
Yeah.
Are you guys sure? I don't want you to just agree out of hesitation.
It's fine. I'm just wondering what concerns my wife has and why we're gonna go back.
I think that is something that definitely could be handled, but I would like to ask Matilda to step out of the room if you don't mind.
There's nothing. Take me out, Matilda.
Okay, so Mr. Wormwood discussed some of his concerns. He doesn't understand why you would feel that way. Can you explain it to us a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, there's not any certain one thing. You just seen what happened when we argue. And I'm just saying that I was afraid it would go back to it.
I understand. Those are natural concerns.
There's not one certain thing that's going on with me or something he needs to know about, like he's making it out to be.
I think it is important that we note his concern for you. That was one of your initial complaints when you first came in. So I am impressed, Mr. Wormwood, that you are willing to investigate your wife's feelings and to find out why she's feeling that way. But I do think tone and communication is important when voicing these feelings. Is there anything you would like to say to your wife to address her concerns?
I'm sorry, Toots.
I'm sorry too.
That was beautiful. I'm glad to hear you guys are working things out, and I would like to talk to you a little bit more about Matilda. How do you guys feel about her starting the homeschooling?
I mean, I'm kind of really excited for her because I feel like she can kind of advance on her own instead of being stuck like in a grade level. Like she can work ahead and, get done with school early and, move on with her goals. But I am nervous about her being around all the time.
Validly so. You guys went from spending little to no time together, and now she's going to be at home all the time, so I could definitely see your concerns there. Mr. Wormwood, what about yourself?
Touch that.
Well, I'm not at home as much, so I won't see how that is going to affect the household. because of course of work and stuff. But if it makes her happy and she's a nerd and if she wants to continue on her nerdy path to go to school and college and all that, if this makes it easier for her, then I'm all for it.
I'd love to hear the change in that. I know at the beginning of our sessions, you didn't see the point of school and you weren't really supportive of Matilda's education goals. So I'm really glad to hear that change. Are there any plans besides the spending more time outside the home that you guys plan to do to transition into the homeschooling?
It's pretty much all we have.
Not much.
Okay. I'm glad to hear that you guys do have some type of plan in place. And have you guys spoken to Miss Honey to secure the teaching and everything as far as that aspect goes?
Yes.
Everything's all set.
All right. And when does she start exactly?
Monday.
Sounds exciting. So if you guys don't have anything else to discuss in private, I'm going to bring Matilda back in.
Okay.
Get in here, Torb. I'm giving you stuff to work with.
Refer them to counseling.
Okay, so before we end, I'd like to know, do you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about and bring to our attention?
Woman, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Since you're always talking.
No, I'm good.
What you guys talk about? Because it doesn't seem like it helped.
Here we go.
Just saying.
Here we go.
Matilda.
Yes.
Grown up stuff. You shouldn't be brown nosing on stuff you don't need to brown nose on.
Alright. Well, Matilda, while you were gone, we discussed a few things with your parents to see how they were, just to assess where they were going and how they felt about things. And so as long as there are no other concerns that you guys would like to talk about, this will be our last family session, but I would very much so encourage Mr. and Mrs. Wormwood to continue coming in for couples therapy. How do you guys feel about that?
I'd be okay with that if he is.
It's fine.
Alright, so that's definitely something that I would like to refer you guys to. You could come back in and work on it. Matilda, do you have any concerns before we leave?
No.
And
What
just,
happens if we go back to how things were?
that is an excellent concern. I'm going to give you guys my phone number, and it is something, if these issues begin to reoccur, I would definitely encourage you guys to come back in as a family, and we can reevaluate just to talk about and see how things are going. But I would like you to continue communicating with your parents and being open and talking about how you feel. Does that sound okay to you?
Are they gonna listen and not call me twerp and stuff like that?
That's the plan.
Hopefully.
Mr. Wormwood, is that something that you plan to actively work on as we move forward?
Sure.
Okay. So if you guys don't have anything else for me, okay, this one.
When we go for couples counseling, are we still going to be able to discuss family things, or would this only be like just me and him?
You'll definitely be able to discuss family things because it is something that that plays a huge role in your relationship. Because I definitely want you guys to feel comfortable speaking openly and freely there.
And we can come see you for those, or do we have to go to someone else?
That's definitely something we can work out. I can give you guys a few referrals, as well as myself, and you can talk to other people to see who you feel most comfortable with. Do we have any other concerns? I definitely would like to thank you guys for coming to talk to me all these weeks. I hope it's been helpful for you, and I appreciate you coming in.
All right. Awesome. I was going to say